This is the Celiac Project, two guys talking gluten-free. Just wanted to give a little disclaimer. We are not medical experts, doctors, dietitians,
Nurses,
bone experts, surgeons.
we're only experts at being celiac patients.
So enjoy the show. And if you're going to do any changes to your diet or need real medical advice, please go to the medical professionals.
That's what they're there for. We have an amazing treat for you. If you want to listen and watch this week's episode, you can go to youtube.com/@celiacproject and watch it there.
If you prefer, you can listen as you usually do. We hope to have some of our future shows on video as they are available, so look for that as well. Now let's get to the show.
Sounds good.
You found the Celiac Project podcast, two guys talking gluten-free. I'm Mike.
And I'm Cam.
And who's joining us on the podcast today, Cam?
Today, calling in from India, we have Risha Ranawat.
Yeah, Risha's story is so dramatic. It's a story of resilience. I think everyone should hear it. Let's get to the show.
Sounds good.
Cam and I are so excited to be joined today by Richa Ranawat. How are you today, Risha?
Very, very, very good. Have been super excited for this one.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you join us today. You and I have been in contact a lot for a while, and we've been looking forward to having you on the podcast. So we like to actually start off. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about your celiac story?
Okay, so I don't know if people in India, I would want people in India to really watch this because my story is misdiagnosed for years or months, I should say. So in 2014, October 8th, I even remember the date because that was where we were all friends having dinner and all. So I suddenly felt sick the other day where I felt a gastro infection. My fever had gone up to 103, 104. And that was the very first time I decided to myself walk into the hospital because I had my best friend's wedding after that. So I thought it's a viral and okay, then I was feeling better. I took the discharge. Then again in 4 days, I was admitted because I was fainting and my sugar levels were down. My heart rate was high. So nobody was understanding what's wrong. And that was the beginning to the never ending diagnosis. So after that, I think so, I was admitted discharged for a couple of times in 1 month itself. I have visited more than 35 doctors in a span of 4 months. And you'll be surprised to know that not even I knew that I had celiac because I had not heard about it or I didn't hear about, gluten allergy. Like I myself had studied nutritionist partly, but not completed it. But I had no idea about celiac. All right. After that, around October 30, or 8th October, I felt sick. On October 30, I just got constipated. And I was constipated for 2 months at a shot. And I was only throwing up. So they took me to the psychiatrist. They treated me for various things. And still there was no solution. In fact, that led me to hallucinations. Like I was badly hallucinated due to the medical reaction. And nobody in the family also would understand because I used to scream out in pain, just throwing up 25 times a day because you're constipated for 2 months. You can't eat anything. Even when they were putting me on saline, my body was throwing up the saline. So I had reached that level where my nerves had shrinked. I had no choice that at a point I had reached where even if they would have to put me on a ventilator, they wouldn't find my nerves to put an IV. So it was really bad. And then after that, again, I was admitted. We thought that we should go do a PET scan to check whether I have a cancer or something. And my physician had got back. He was on a vacation throughout the time when I felt sick. So it was my very bad luck during that time. And after that, I was given sleeping injections, I was given sleeping pills, and I was diagnosed with bulimia and anorexia. That she is having bulimia because that is the safest diagnosis in India. If you have any problem which a doctor cannot diagnose, I'm not talking about all the doctors in India, but most of them, they will give you any psychological tag on your prescription that, oh, she's suffering this. So that is a very big drawback in India over here, which I have suffered and faced for years. And we thought of doing an allergy test in 2015 August. We did allergy test, okay? And then it was like, oh, I'm allergic to everything, in fact. I was allergic to wheat, to barley, to oats, to rice, to gram flour, and I don't know what all. And then we did my TTG, IgA, then we did DPG, then we did a biopsy, which concluded that I have celiac. But you'll be shocked to know that even during the phase when my celiac was not detected, the doctors had done my endoscopy because I was constipated, but they didn't choose to do my colonoscopy. If suppose today, Michael, you are constipated for 2 months, your doctor will first do a colonoscopy that why are you not able to pass motions because you're feeling bloated, right? But they didn't choose that. And even when they did my endoscopy twice during that time, they did not check for my villi. They were only checking for ulcers or for cancer. So I wish that they would have checked. I didn't have to suffer through all of that. So,
Right.
Michael, if you remember that when we connected also, I even told you I suffered Steven Johnson syndrome because I had massive medical reactions. I was at the age of 25 when I got detected. At the age of 25, I was weighing 25 kg. So losing almost 20 kgs weight in a span of 1.5, 2 months was not a joke. And everybody thought I'm going to die. Like when I used to sleep, people used to feel I'm not going to wake up the other day. And top of everything, that Steven Johnson syndrome has killed my skin because it burns you. It literally burns you like acid. And it's very difficult for me to explain people here because for them to understand what is chronic illness or what is an autoimmune disease is very hard. Like very hard. There have been times, I hope it's not getting too long and I can
No.
talk.
Yeah, continue.
The biggest fight that I have suffered in celiac is where my family had also left me. They had literally left me because they thought maybe I have gone mad and I'm just shouting to gain attention. And I had no one to understand me except for the people who work for me, who work with me, who stood by me. And my best friends that are my school friends, who no matter how tough I got to handle, they didn't leave my side. And trust me, they didn't leave. My parents left me. My sister, my brother, everyone left me because nobody understood what it is. They just felt that I have gone mad because I was over hallucinated because of the medicine. You may not be in front of me, but I thought you are in front of me and you're going to put me to mental hospital because all you are talking about is I have a psychological issue where my teeth is falling, my teeth is having a problem, my eyes are getting a problem. Day by day, my every organ was having a problem. Now, everything cannot be in my mind. So I had to literally fight until I didn't have the proof on papers. Nobody believed that I had celiac and I genuinely had an autoimmune disease and not a psychological disease. And the biggest fight here is to explain your family and friends what you go through every day. It's not easy. And trust me, it isn't because for me, even till date, I have to fight. Like in COVID was the time when I connected with Michael because I got through that from your mate, Celiac project. And then he was like, you should show this to your family to explain them what it is. And trust me, that helped me a lot because my husband and I watched it. And so even he didn't know these minute details. All right. Not these minute details, which he got to know through that film. And getting detected with celiac gave me a relaxation, but it got me a lot of loss also in my life because you say it is a loss or is it my gain? I still don't know. But there are people who have abandoned me while I was suffering and didn't know what is wrong with me. Just because what I till they don't know what was my fault. Was it that I just felt sick or I felt sick with something that I didn't had knowledge about or I didn't had control over? This is the first time I'm talking to someone who's on the same page as me. Because no matter how much I try to explain, anyone who has no knowledge or even has knowledge and doesn't suffer it, it is not the same as it may be that I share with you all. So there's a lot of minus point in India, lack of knowledge. So it's, oh, you have celiac, don't eat wheat, but you can have oats. Oh, but not all oats are gluten free.
Right.
They don't know. It is, oh, you can eat this, eat little bit, nothing will happen. Oh, it's all in your head. And now if anyone tells me it's all in my head, I can literally kill that person off. And because I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it because that dialogue that everyone put me, are you're just thinking it's in your head, in your head, in your head, has killed me. It got me on bed for 2.5, 3 years because of the misdiagnosis, suffering Steven Johnson syndrome, damaging my sciatica nerve, wouldn't be able to walk for 2 years. I was limping for 2 years. So I have gone through a massive turmoil in my life while not being diagnosed and even after being diagnosed. Like, I'm allergic to a lot of medication, which also I got to know through Michael that a lot of medicines also use gluten as a binder, which
Mhm.
I don't know whether it happens in US or not, but in India, no pharmaceutical company mentions the binder at all. They don't mention it. And there is no way or there's no website or anything where you can find out what is your binder. For me, it is, oh, I'm popping the pill to get better, but I get worse at time.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you think you're doing something for betterment, but it's all ruined. It's totally ruined. So I would like to even share one more incident.
Mhm.
So basically, when I told you that they thought I got cancer and I got admitted because they thought that maybe I may have cancer or a starting state or a tumor or something which is going undetected because all my reports were coming normal, all my reports. So during that time, I even had a CT scan done for my stomach. No, not for my stomach. I just got a body CT scan done. At times, they give you a dye. They inject a product in your body or they give you to sip it up. So I couldn't sip it up because I used to throw up a lot. I couldn't sip up on water. So that was far off. As they injected me, my body reacted. I had big lumps of red color on my whole body. So the doctor was also shocked that I'm among this 2% who was even allergic to a dye. And in India, allergy is not taken seriously. It's not. We today know that celiac can cause you Alzheimer, it can cause you stomach cancer. It is a cause to a lot of illness. But when you go to the doctors here, oh, they'll just treat the illness. But where it started from, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They will never ever ask you to do an allergy test. Never ever. It's
That's
not
so
there.
interesting.
I just visited a doctor last month. And no, not even last month. Yeah, last month. And it was like, oh, do you really have these allergies? Or is it just in your head? So it was a doctor who questioned me.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so glad. Thank you for not sparing any detail for us, Richa, because I think it's so important that people hear your story to see that to me, I'm so sorry you had to go through all of that, the 35 doctors and nobody, most importantly, nobody believing you when you're having these physical manifestations of this disease. And it's heart wrenching that to me that you had to go through all of that. And I'm so glad that you finally got diagnosed and that you're sharing your story because I know that so many people are going to be helped by hearing it because I know not everybody goes through such the dramatic swings, but you are showing us, as we say, there are like 300 or more symptoms. And it sounds like you were dealing with so many of them. And I'm so glad that we connected. I'm really glad that the documentary could help, of course, but just happy that you're on the road to recovery. And also now that you're helping other people see the realities of what it can be like to have celiac and not get diagnosed in a timely manner. And things can, especially when you have other autoimmune conditions, these all, can work together to make life just absolutely miserable. And you are such an amazing, resilient person. So just so
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know that I could have gotten through that. It's just amazing.
I just want to intervene here. You just said that through the physical transformation that we go through, but it was not the physical that just killed me. It was more of the mental, psychological torture that I was being given. Oh, today I'll take you to this doctor. Oh, tomorrow I'll take you to this doctor. Oh, tomorrow I'll take you to this doctor. Every week I was changing 3 doctors, not knowing what. And so I would like to highlight this point here. I'm phobiatic to injections and doctors. You cannot take my blood test easily. I'm highly phobiatic to injection and doctors, and that was the only trauma that was given to me for 2 years. And above all of that, the most thing was the emotional part of mine because I'm a highly emotionally sensitive person. I get connected to people and I'm over emotional. And what made me weak during that point was people who left me, my family who didn't believe that, oh, there could be some other side because of their lack of knowledge in it. And it's just that I just wish that my family would have believed me at that time. My things would have been much more easier. And I just hope that whoever's watching this, or even if their families are watching, or if there are parents watching, please look into what your kid tells they have a problem, not what the doctor says, because only the person, only the patient who's suffering it can explain their body better than you. So there's one more thing I would like to highlight here in India that when you go to doctors, okay, no matter how much you tell them, I'm even telling the doctor that please understand, treat me for my constipation. It's been 2 months I have not passed stool. 2 months. It's not a joke. When we're constipated for 5 days, 6 days, we go mad. You have headache. You start throwing up. You can't eat. You can't swallow anything. But no, then my parents, because of their the age gap and because of their generation, oh, she's not eating anything. So how will she pass motion? So they were only treating me for vomiting. And they gave me those medicines which caused me all the more constipation. So there are certain medicines that you take for nausea or for throw ups which have side effects that cause you constipation. So it was just going on piled. So at the age being 25, there was a joke when I called the doctor. Oh, I want to come in for a PET scan. So they said, okay, tell us your age. And I was like, oh, 25. And they're like, tell us your weight. I was like, 25. They're like, we're asking you your weight, not your age. I was like, God, I don't know what all I'm going to face through because India has a lot of things to learn in terms of medical, in terms of allergies, in terms of celiac, in terms of difference being a celiac and having a gluten intolerant.
Hmm.
A lot of people mix this thing up that, oh, you have gluten intolerant. So I to eat sometimes nothing happens. So, I say, see, I just use an easier word that is gluten allergy so that you people understand. If I tell you all celiac disease, you all won't understand only what I have. When you go into the details, I knew a friend of ours who was like, oh, I have gluten allergy and I don't eat. And today she's ended up knowing that she has celiac, not gluten allergy. So there are a lot of people who suffer, who think that no, nothing. When you keep on itching and you don't understand why you're getting so itchy all the time, but they won't bother to take an allergy test because it's not there. It's not there. Completely no. Even doctors. So now lately, I had spoken to Michael around 4 months back when the issue started. So I had a small surgery due to something. And I was stopped from my allergy injections or the medicines and all that. And that was the duration when I had a dental filling done. Now those dental fillings had gluten, which I didn't know. I didn't know because I was thinking of doing crown. So the doctor in US told me that how will you do crown? What do you all use in India for doing crowns? Because usually the product that you use for measurement or the temporary ones, they all have gluten. They are made of MMA or MCI. I don't know the exact thing. So I said, oh, even dental products have gluten. I said, I'm not aware, but my doctor knew that I have celiac. Okay. But still, those fillings had gluten, which caused a major havoc. All the fillings started coming out. I have been on liquid diet for 3.5 months. It's been 4 months I have been home because of the gluten in my mouth, in my teeth. My gut is gone for a toss. My immunity level have gone down. I have had fever, cough, cold for 3.5 months. I haven't stepped out of my house except for my doctors. Being on a home arrest for 3 months or for a couple of months with just a episode of having gluten is something people don't understand. So today, if they see me, they say, "Oh, you're looking so good on this podcast." But then next minute, what my body reacts is not in my hand. So I am sure, Cam, you and Michael would understand this. That no matter what, today you're talking to me, tomorrow how you're going to wake up, you don't know. You really don't know how your body is going to react to what. And it is a very big challenge in India to even find gluten-free product. 100% gluten-free. It is a very big challenge because they say it's gluten-free. But even on the products it's written may contain, made in the same faculty. If it's made in the same faculty, how is it gluten-free? Now here for the consumer rights or the consumer code, they play their safer side. Any product they write their safety. They play very safe, but they don't understand that we are risking our life. You go and buy anything in India, any product, may contain or made in the same faculty. So I would like to take this place to even tell people in India that there's a basic spice that is used the most in Indian kitchen, all right, the most. And that is astrapedia, hing. We call it hing in India. That you put it in vegetables or anything. And that also contains wheat. Most of the brands use wheat to mix it up. Usually it's made out of a fruit. But to keep it powdered, they mix wheat in it, which I didn't know for years. And I was eating and I didn't know why am I still not recovering? Why am I still not recovering? And it's a very basic product and without which you won't get food in India. 80% of the food in India has it.
Wow. Very frustrating. Risha, can I ask? So we talked to Annika Darwal a while ago, and she splits her time. She was a student at the time that we talked to her in England and India, and was trying to raise awareness in India about things.
Nice
Because
about her.
yeah, because she talks about what you're talking about, that the awareness is really low. So have you found any support in India from groups and from the food manufacturers? Because it's really frustrating. I know the population is huge. I know there's many people with celiac in India, and it's really like mind blowing and really obviously frustrating to hear how much of an uphill battle this is for you to raise awareness and to get safe food and safe pharmaceuticals and all of that.
So see, in food products, there's no such help. There are certain brands that have come up which are totally, they mention it. Oh, it's only millet. It's plain millet tawa or it's a plain millet puff. They mention it. So that now, but 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I've just suffered. There was nothing. I had to make everything home. I didn't know because I was new. So while being bedridden or while being home arrest, only thing I have done is researched recipes, tried things, still made mistake. There is still things that I eat up which I don't know have gluten and end up knowing that this had gluten. And the most okay, now in terms of medical, I'll tell you. When I went to dentist and I was finding, when I told you, remember that please, if you can put me to some dentist who has awareness of gluten free and celiac, and you had recommended me one dentist which was there on your panel, correct? So in India, I went to almost 14 dentists, and like why I spoke and tried to find out. So the dentists are like, we don't have celiac in our syllabus. It's not there in our curriculum. So we have no idea about celiac. They have no knowledge that the dental product had gluten. So how am I supposed to know it when the dentists who have studied for years don't know about it? How am I supposed to know it? So there is definitely, this is a clear example of lack of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know what products. They didn't know. I asked Michael, like, I'm so thankful for Celiac Project because I have got a lot of help and y'all are so responsive. I have picked a lot more of knowledge that I didn't have because you get knowledge from similar people who suffer this thing, who would have this knowledge, but there are hardly anyone. Hardly. Everyone around me is a basic. Oh, it's okay. They won't think before putting hand in your plate. And if you stop them, you're rude. They won't understand it. If you tell them, oh, I don't want to come out because there are times you can't eat. And I love street food. The food that I love, it's like street food. And you can't eat anything. You go, you have coffee shops or anything. So now, if people don't know, a lot of disposable that we use, the party disposables, also have gluten. So you have to select which disposables are you using. You use coconut or you use corn ones or you use sugar ones. That's up to you. But there are also ones which are made from barley and wheatgrass.
Definitely.
So even wheat is used as a binder in disposables, which people don't know. So when your body is drained, you feel like doing nothing. You're already having that constant fight in your brain, in your heart with food. Before thinking, you have that fear, oh, is it safe for me? I hope I'm not going to eat it and get on bed for months later. Because the best remedy to, if you have a gluten or if you have a celiac episode, what is the best remedy? To rest it out, to take your allergy tablets or to take your antidoses and just rest it out. There is no other remedy or a treatment that you go through. At least I am not aware of. In case there is, they may be very intensive. But if you're at home, so you have to just rest it out for months. And be like, yesterday though you were partying. Oh, but I did have a gluten episode. Because now, so people think that gluten is only by eating. No, it's not. If it's getting ingested in your body from anywhere, a celiac person who's highly reacting to it will react, which also people are not aware. There are certain makeup products or certain creams, if you have applied, I immediately react. I start itching, I start getting bumps, I start getting breathless. So I'm telling you that when in 2014, 15, I don't have pictures. I would really want to show you the pictures. I have never ever shown it to anyone because I have been so embarrassed of myself. You won't believe for 3.5 to 5 months, I haven't seen myself in the mirror and I was self-obsessed about me, how I used to look. I used to make it sure that wherever I go, I am dressed perfectly, my hair is washed, I'm well to do, I'm presentable. But for that 4 months, I was nothing more than a dead body. I was nothing more than that. I was dead because my emotions were dead. My heart was dead because everything I loved, I was losing on it. I loved my hair. I had a lot of loss of my hair because there was nobody to shower my hair because I didn't have these friends losing 20 kgs and vomiting 25 times a day. Oh, they're like, she's sick, she's ill, let her be ill. There was no one. So during that time, I had massive acid reflux, which is also a very big major cause that you suffer after having celiac. That eroded my enamel completely. I used to throw up face, just the face for 24 hours, constant. You couldn't sleep flat. You had to sleep elevated. And top of it, I had sciatica, so I had to even elevate my legs. I was sleeping in a V position for almost 1.5 years. There was a time I used to be so flexible. I used to do splits. I used to do everything. And now, even when I have to dance, I'm fearful because I have lost balance because of my sciatica. My complete body balance is gone. Okay, I walk, you won't come to know. But my heel doesn't touches the floor here. So why has this happened? Because the doctors didn't have the medical knowledge. When I told you that my doctor asked me to do a PET scan and I didn't want it to get admit, my family forcefully, my family and family friends forcefully admitted me because they thought I have lost it because I used to shout on top of my voice. I would scream, I would throw things, I would break things because I had lost it. I started getting panic attacks. Most of my family don't know I suffer from panic attacks or anxiety. They don't know about it because telling them it's not going to help me. It's not going to help me because they won't understand. I have just lost the hope of expecting my family to understand or my friends to understand what I go through. It is my thing. I would only be thankful to my school friends, my physician Anita Gidwani, my school friends Uba Presha Urvi, because they have been through, you won't believe, 4 months of hospitalization. My childhood friend Urvi, she didn't leave my side. She gave up her profession. She gave up her family. She gave up everything. That girl did not leave my hand. And you won't believe, in my hallucination, I was even doubting her. I doubted her. I shouted at her. I fought with her. But she didn't leave my side. And I think that is something I was expecting from more people around me whom I was much more closer, but they just abandoned me. And that trauma is something I have still not overcome because everyone says, forget it, move on. You do move on. You do move on. But there are instances that happen in your life again which remind you of them. You know? Oh, and you again fall into that place. Oh, why did they leave me? What was my fault? Celiac chose me. I didn't choose celiac. And I didn't know what was celiac earlier than this. So I don't know. I still figure out that what is my fault. Back to where I said that I was going to the PET scan and my family friend admitted me that no, let her admit. So 1.5 days, they didn't give me any medication because I was clear cut that I'm following only my physician, what she's doing. I am not going to get admitted and you cannot give me any medicine. Okay. You cannot give me any medicine. On that basis, I got admitted. All right. And you won't believe I got admitted for PET scan. They did my pap smear. Okay. And then after that, they were not giving me discharge because I had Steven Johnson syndrome reaction. And the day I got sciatica nerve puncture, they discharged me within minutes, which they were fighting with my family. We cannot discharge her. And within 15 minutes, they gave me my discharge card because they knew they did a blunder. So I could file my case, but I didn't choose to because it's a long law process in India. India is very slow in terms of law and medical law. You don't have so much knowledge. I didn't have much knowledge how to go about or what to go about. And it would just be an emotional torture to yourself. Telling story to every Tom, Dick, Harry you meet and repeating the same emotional instances that you have been through would lead me to nowhere but to depression. Okay. And then after when we came home and my friend Urvi, when she called the doctor, oh doctor, there is no PET scan report in this for which we get admitted. She no, it's there. So she no, it's not there because my physician said, where is your PET scan report? It's not there. So that's when we realized. So she PET scan and pap smear is same. I'm literally telling you this is what the gynec doctor told us. PET scan and pap smear is same. And we were like, okay. And then the physician who was looking after me as the second doctor, I asked him that she's telling me that PET scan and pap smear is same. What is the story? Are you mad? How from one hole you can see what is there in your whole body? Pap smear is for a cervical cancer, if I'm not wrong. And PET scan is for your whole body that you go through with the radioactives injected in your body. So they're two different processes. But she said it was one. A well-known hospital's gynac tells you this. Then even one of my family friend, they also were like, oh, it's the same. And trust me, it was God's grace. After 4 days, I still had that chat in my phone. That same family friend messaged me the newspaper cutting where the doctor is saying PET scan and pap smear is different. Till there is nothing in written, and if you're suffering from a disease which is invisible to the outer world, you will face the biggest challenge to explain that you are sick. Because you may not look sick. Internally, you cannot hold up yourself. You can't stand. You have to gather the strength to even complete a day's work when you're having a gluten episode. Because you just, your body just gives up. So when I have a gluten episode, my heart rate goes to 200 plus. So I can't even walk because I go that breathless. It has been, luckily I have friends now who support me, who make it a point that if I'm sick and I'm been on bed for months, they will carry me. They will tell me you sleep in the car, but we'll go on a long drive. So Arya is one of those friends who she's a travel blogger, but she just looks into it that, oh, I have to go and meet this girl. No matter what, I have to take her out. I have to entertain her. So it has been through that. Now the support. Now, if you talk about the support or the knowledge, so there are a lot of villages here, correct? Now, in cities, we are still aware that there is something like gluten. But in villages, they don't know. So when I go to my village or to my husband's village or anyone, they don't know what is celiac. They don't know what is gluten. As per them, it's nothing. Everyone eat here. It's not going to cause you anything. And they'll come, they'll put it. They don't understand that even if you put it in my plate, I won't be able to eat the rest of the things in my plate because the meat has already touched it. They don't understand. So now, to explain maids over here, it's a task because not everyone over here has big houses. You have one common kitchen where you're living with your family. I have stopped gluten in my house completely, Michael, after my last episode, which I had told you when you had sent me that film. I totally stopped gluten in that. But now what happens that even if they're coming from out, oh no, we haven't cooked in this. We didn't cook wheat. Oh, but you have wheat in your house. Don't choose the same clothes to come to me. Because you are cooking in your house wheat. You are making the chapatis in those clothes. People find it I'm exaggerating it. Boss, I'm not exaggerating it. I know the details. You won't believe, Michael, your celiac project. I sent it to my family members. And with a lot of heartbreak, I'm telling you. So there's also this one actress, I forgot her name. I'm even in touch with her, but I always forget her name, who had a very long interview about celiac, who got detected at the age of 25. She was there in those Bad Boys film. I forgot her name. Her interview is my life's copy. Everything that she went through is everything I went through. Sucking on ginger, to sleeping elevated, to having her teeth pop out on its own. And the doctor saying it's in your head. At a point, I just wanted to give up. I wanted to suicide because nobody was understanding it's not in my head. I went through IIPM or IIMP3 test, psychological test, which shows whether you are depressed or you have any cycle. I came out clean sheet 4 times on that test. 4 times. Like my school friend took me to the psychiatrist because the doctor who had told pap smear and PET scan is same. She on my discharge card wrote suggested to a psychiatrist because we assume she's been suffering with anorexia and bulimia. Now, so when I went, the doctor clearly told my friend that she's not at all depressed. There is nothing wrong with her. After that, I went to other 3 psychiatrists. They said it's not possible you could have anorexia bulimia because I was digesting sweets. I was only eating sugar and good fatty milk, sugar, sweets that I was having throughout my 2 years period, which gains in most weight. I was digesting potato. I would digest lentil. That didn't cause me a problem. But as soon as they would give me chapati or they would give me oats, I would start throwing up. Now, biggest problem is that being celiac, being allergic to the brow, the barley, rye, oat, wheat. That is how you remember that these are the basic things. I am even allergic to rice. I'm highly allergic to rice. So it becomes a very big task for me to find gluten-free products which don't have wheat and rice. And also soya. I don't even have soya because soya also has barley thing. And the soya sauce, basically, I think, not the soya, but I'm even allergic to soy. So there's a lot of myth here, that a lot of myth behind being celiac or having an autoimmune disease. People won't understand. They won't. And you won't believe the worst part is where people start counting you out of the gathering.
Yeah, that is the worst. All of it's the worst. The physical symptoms, the emotional aspect of it, the social exclusion, everything you're saying. But I do see the silver lining in the part that you said with your school friends, with them really coming through and loving you and taking care of you. That's really nice to have. So I'm really thankful that you at least had them, though. But I'm so sorry about all of your other loss with your family and support system, because it's not okay.
Yeah, but that was during that time. Later, when they got to know celiac, they all are back. But see, I don't blame them because they also didn't have the knowledge. My parents having the age gap with me and their generation, nothing was ever there. And no doctor also told them. So they wouldn't. And even I didn't know till it came on papers, diagnosed. I didn't know what is celiac or what is gluten. It was my doctor, Anita Girvani, who told me, Richa, you should shift to US because you can't digest wheat.
Yeah.
She was like, and she's been a blessing to me in sorting my constipation. Like, she's the only doctor I have been to since I shifted from a pediatric to an adult doctor. So she's like my mother to me.
Yeah.
And so there was a friend of mine with whom I was studying, Neha. She's my dietitian, my nutritionist. She is made it possible for me to cross my weight from 25 to 40. It was a very long thing, and it is in bits and parts. She learned, she researched, she explored, she explained me. So there's been a lot of people who have helped me during this. Like now for my dentist, I would thank Dr. Ratandeep Patil because he was the one who looked into it, who made sure that which product could work for me. He made sure that he got the email confirmation from the manufacturers, from the company people. He got the certificate that they're gluten free. So anyone who is having dental problems in with suffering celiac, they can try 3M products. Most of them are gluten free, but still have your thing checked before you use them. Even the toothpaste that we use, many of them have gluten in it. How many people in India would know it? Nobody. I would say nobody. Very rare. So it's been, there are people who have helped me, supported me, motivated me. Biggest and biggest support for me during that time was my team, my staff, my team. I would have physically abused myself. I used to doubt at night, 4 o'clock. I would feel somebody standing and I would lose it on him, but they did not leave my side. And I don't mind saying this. I'm very emotionally dependent on them. I always have that fear after losing so many relations, being emotionally weak and losing so many relations because of your health. I have that fear that I hope I don't lose my people. That fear is inbuilt in me now. I can't afford to lose people. I can't. And when I do, I just fall sick because undiagnosis of celiac has left that trauma in me completely. So it takes a lot more to deal. Like, so there was an incident I'll share. So I prefer going to villas where I have access to private kitchen than to hotels. Okay. In India. But at times I go to good 5-star resorts or something, or when I know the owners of that resort because they know what problems I have. So there was an incident. I had just visited my friend, my very good friend Smita Gonkar. She's an actress. So it was a birthday, and it's always been between us that we never miss each other's birthday. No matter where we are, the other person will reach there. Okay. And she knew I have been sick and I have not been traveling and I needed to get out fresh. She booked a place where we knew the owners. So my family was like, you went there, but you didn't come to our house. I'm like, your house is full of gluten. You have a pet and you all don't have celiac. So you eat anywhere. In India, there's no typical thing, oh, we have to only have dinner on dining table. People even eat in their bedrooms, they even eat in their kitchen, they even eat in their hall. Or even on their living area, the sofa, or on the bed. They eat anywhere. There is no specific assigned place compulsory in anybody's house. Yeah. So when you have to visit anybody's house, it becomes very difficult to tell them no that I can't eat. I have to roam with mask. In India, everybody will see me with the mask first wherever I am. When I'm out of my house, I'm wearing a mask. Because people don't remember, they just come, they kiss you. They don't realize they just had gluten. You can't go that close. Maybe I may be exaggerating certain incidents, But I have suffered problems with it. Everybody that has celiac reacts differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you don't know what lipstick are you applying. It has gluten or not, you don't know. You kissing me is just leaving it on my cheek. It will get ingested through my skin now, or it won't. So people don't understand it. Now there have to be the things that you clean your vessels with, the sponge that you clean the vessels with. That needs to be different for gluten and for non-gluten. When you're
Mhm.
using that same thing to clean vessels that have cooked gluten in it, and then
Mhm.
again cleaning my plate with it is not making my plate gluten free. So I'm sorry for anyone over here and whoever house I visit. I'm sorry if I say no to food, if I say no to water, I basically can't. I just can't. And it's high time people understand this because already I'm fighting with myself with food. And then when you say this, it goes a lot more. It goes a lot more. It has taken me 8 years to come in terms with something that I'm suffering day by day because even I am learning it every day. Every day I suffer with some new illness. Something new is detected because that undiagnosis of celiac for that couple of months has caused a lot of damage in my body internally, which till date is getting detected one by one when it reacts. When I have a major celiac episode, it does react back. I just got vasculitis, cellulitis, I got SJS, I got this dental episode done. Then I had hormonal issues. I have my relay issues that just go dead. So I want you to put in some light that what is it to actually have celiac for people in India. It would be a very big help because I'm sure when we post this and I share it, many
Mhm.
people are going to hear it and most of them are going to be from India. I really want them to know that what I'm actually going through and it's not easy emotionally. And celiac does make you emotionally more weak.
It wears on you. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I want to point out you are a super resilient person. I want also our listeners, people who are watching this, to know really how successful Risha has become despite this. Like, you're in the fashion industry doing amazing things, despite, I can't imagine, like you said, getting out of bed can be hard. And my hope for this podcast, I know we're getting near the end of our time together, is that people, certainly in India, but worldwide, can really understand how hard this can be. And thank you for being so transparent about everything that you've gone through. Sharing your story is going to help so many people. And this makes me want to pack up my bags and Cam's bags and go to India, go on a world tour so we can.
Oh, no, you really need to visit here.
That would be great, and spread awareness. And all I want for you is to not have these struggles and to have some support. Like Cam said, it's wonderful, like your friends getting you through this and everything. But I want also more organizations and everybody to help lift you up because you are such a ray of light and such an amazing person, and you deserve not to have to struggle through all of this alone. And so, anything before we wrap up today that you want everybody who's listening to this very important podcast to learn?
So, see, the biggest support you could ever get when you're suffering with celiac or any autoimmune disease is yourself. Unless and until you accept it yourself, nobody is going to understand it but you. Nothing is going to help you cure yourself. People may misjudge you. People may think you're over exaggerating. You're doing it so that they sympathize with you. People may think, oh, you want attention. People do claim these. People will judge you. They will try to aggravate you. They would try to make you have gluten or force you, it's okay, have it. But no, you have to know what is good for you. Now, throughout this, the biggest support here in today's date for me has been my husband, whom I have not mentioned. And trust me, I think no matter what, all not having diagnosed celiac took away from me the emotional loss. It is all paid back to me in my husband's form. And trust me, it has. It has. Like, I don't have to talk for myself. It's he who just advocates for me. He shuts people up. He's like, she can't. You need to understand. Stop, pressuring her. Stop triggering her. Like, my sister looks after my business. It will not just come with a emotional and physical loss. It comes, the undiagnosis or the misdiagnosis come with a lot of other losses. It could be financial, emotional, physical, mental, relationship loss, a lot of things. You have to know that if you're facing something, you have to be prepared that how well you could handle yourself I just wished I knew I had celiac. I would be prepared and I would know mentally, oh, I'm suffering this and I would be fine. But when you don't know what you're suffering, like how people who have cancer, they're prepared, oh, we have cancer, we know we are going to go through hell of pain. You have it back of your mind. You are never ready for it, but you're subconsciously aware. But when you're not diagnosed with something, you're not prepared. You're not aware. You're just into the hustle. Or something come. At least some sickness comes on my paper so that I know what is wrong. But I would even like to tell people in India that no matter what you're suffering, especially for kids, there's a doctor, I forgot his name, in Delhi, AIM. Now he practices in New York, I believe, or New Jersey. He has diagnosed 1,000 children under the age of 13 with celiac disease. So it's not that your kid can't have it. If your father may not have it, but maybe your grandfather had it and you got it. So it's not necessary every generation gets it. At times there's a skip of generation and the other generation gets it. So there's a lot of things that cause this. And I would suggest everyone that you must have a medical checkup done. Whenever you have an endoscopy or a biopsy done, do ask your doctors to check for your villi. Because if your villi is damaged, you definitely may have celiac. Get your test done, get basic allergy test done. It is a must in today's thing because today everything that we eat is just chemical, I believe. There's nothing that is pure. And I just hope that like I get most of my food from US. It's like whichever friend of mine is coming from US, they'll not get anything for anyone, but they'll make sure to call me and ask me, Richa, what is the thing you want? And I would just like to highlight one more point that it's not that people are not there around you to support you. It's just that the lack of knowledge. Today, my family is that strong to me. Today, if it's my brother-in-law, my brother, my sister-in-law, or anyone, they stand headstrong near me that, oh, she's fine. Oh, don't go to her. You have had week. Just sanitize your hands. Go wash your hands first. Everybody makes it a point. And when you are physically disabled at a point because of the various things that break around or anything, there are people who stand by you. And Michael, I would like to mention this here by taking your permission that when just 2 years back, when we came in touch and I was not able to walk because of my sciatica, because falling down, having a chapati by mistake, thinking it was my chapati, and the episode where I didn't had confidence on myself, the person whom I work with, or the human being and a loving soul like Reema and Ravina Tandon. I work with Ravina Tandon. She trusted me. She, you can't walk. It's okay. You will just sit on the monitor. You will ask the assistants to do, but I know you can do this. And that was the small push I needed. Trust me, that small push made me recover. It made me believe in myself again. So, guys, anyone who's suffering around you, please give them that small push. It may all be that they need. That just one small push to help them go ahead emotionally and get back this strength. It's okay. Celiac has not taken everything for me. I can still do it. And I hope that India, I'm still not aware if anyone is aware, and or even if you come through any website that has pharmaceutical items mentioned that binders where they use and where I could see and then pop in. That would be the biggest thing I would want someone to do. I think this is your next project, Michael.
Okay. People are working in the United States on the pharmaceutical stuff,
Yeah.
and we're in touch with them. So hopefully we can make some inroads on that. But I think that was a perfect way to end it.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
When do you think is the vaccine coming out?
Wow.
Oh,
Very good question. I know that is coming. We just recently did our 400th and 401st show, and we asked many doctors that, Risha, and they are optimistic that some of the top docs in America think 5 to 10 window, I think, was Dr.
years.
Blair was saying 5 to 10 years, which is not maybe as quickly as we want, but if that's a realistic guideline, I think hopefully we've got something soon. But I was saying, I really hope that people, wherever they are, learn from your story and that we can build on the supports wherever we are. This is like a reminder that the work is not done. We need much more celiac awareness and much more sympathy and empathy for what we're going through. And I want to say to you, I know I've said this, but your resilience is just amazing to both of us. And you're such an inspiration that you didn't give up, because going to 35 doctors, I think after the third doctor, I would have just climbed into a hole. So We are so thankful for you coming on today, sharing your story. I know
And your insight.
yeah, and your insight, and we're going to stay in touch. And we wish you nothing but the best and health.
So I just wished I had that picture. I don't have that picture with me, which I wanted to show you, which I really wanted people to see or know what celiac takes them through. But I just have one image, which I can show you if you want,
Okay,
Sure.
which will show like I was cooking even despite being however sick I was. So this was me at 25 kg.
Wow.
And if you see my skin, you can make out that I had Steven Johnson syndrome. My whole skin turned black. And this is me only weighing 25 kg. And there's a lot more. And I just hope that everyone just get more and more awareness because it's not in India.
My hope is that we have to find a way to raise that worldwide awareness and find these places that the awareness is so low and find ways to really pump that up quickly because no one should have to suffer the way that you did.
Not just me. I know your story too. I know you went, So
Right.
it's a lot of people's story, but I just hope that no one has to go through what we all went.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Yeah. Risha, all the best. And really thank you for joining us.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's show. If you like the podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to the podcast. This will help other people find the show. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.